Just a heads up, I don't curse, so I'll always replace the curse word with something else. Tommy, your Hufflepuff is showing. By LuminaStarCrest. Read by Ella Frawadet. Chapter 2. Tommy is patient. Tommy was in a greenhouse, tending to a few plants that Professor Shrub, their herbology teacher, told him to. It was mostly the mandragoras that needed attention. Little things always need attention. His ears perked up when he heard a loud scream coming from another greenhouse. What the heck? Tommy dusted the dirt off of his black and yellow robes before heading towards the sound. He grabbed the greenhouse's doorknob and turned it, opening the door as gently as possible, because if he remembered correctly, some plants in that greenhouse were easily disturbed. That scream probably set some of them off already. Walking further in, he could faintly hear a familiar voice mumbling. He followed the noise and spotted something red at the corner of his eye. Crouching down, he crawled over to the figure. BQ? There, crouched under one of the tables, was one of the members of their little friend group. "Tommy!" the older boy exclaimed. "You gotta help me, man." He grasped the blonde by his shoulders and slightly shaking him back and forth. Alright, I'll freaking help you." Tommy pulled Quackity's hands off of him. "What the hell's going on anyway?" "You're Hufflepuff, right? So you're good at herbology?" Quackity asked. "First of all," Tommy started, "that's a bloody stereotype. But yeah, I am good with plants." "Perfect. Oh, this is perfect." "Why?" Tommy asked, his voice raising a pitch. "Why is this perfect?" He made quotation marks with his fingers. "'Cause there's a freaking plant that's out to freaking get me." A loud crash and the sound of pots breaking came from the other end of the greenhouse. A blur of green and chomping sounds filled the greenhouse. Tommy furrowed his eyebrows. "Why are the chomping cabbages after you?" The cabbages were pretty much behaved unless provoked, so them acting up was weird. "I may or may not have knocked an entire row of them off the table," Quackity mumbled. "Why would you do that, Big Q?" Tommy yelled. "Hey, you try getting your arms snagged on by a fanged geranium." "Shh!" Tommy covered Quackity's mouth with his hand. "Do you want it to come to us?" he asked, in which Quackity responded to by shaking his head. Tommy let Quackity free before standing up. "What are you doing?" Quackity asked, alarmed. "Catch them," Tommy said with the most casual tone Quackity has ever heard. These plants were in the 5th-year circle. Tommy was just a 4th year. How would he handle them? Quackity watched from a safe distance. Tommy stood there, a potted cabbage just across him. "Hey, little guy," Tommy said, crouching in front of the plant. It acknowledged him by snapping its mouth at his direction, but Tommy paid it no mind. "Come on, you wanna go back on the table, don't you?" The plant hopped around some more, a little more aggressively this time, prompting the other cabbages to be more feral. Tommy could feel his eye twitching a bit because of the plant's little tantrum, but instead of yelling and provoking them even more, he took a deep breath. "Come on, you want to get up on the table, yeah?" Tommy asked. "You'll get more light there," he said. It wasn't true. The table was no different from the floor, but these plants were valuable, so they had to be safe on the table. The plants seemed to believe him, though. evident with it stopping and opting to inch closer to Tommy, making the boy smile. That's it, come on. The pot of the plant eventually reached his hands, and he had placed it back where it belonged. Tommy, Quackity said, How did you do that? He came out of his hiding spot. Seeing as after Tommy had talked to one of the cabbages, the rest became calmer. You just gotta coax them, Big Q, Tommy said. They're very fussy. If mandakas are babies, these ones are hyperactive children. You mean like you? Tommy gave the other a deadpan look. Do you want me to leave you here, douchehead? No, Quackity said. It was a joke. Please don't leave me here. He grabbed onto Tommy's rope sleeve. Please. Yeah, I won't. Stop yelling, Tommy said in the loudest voice that he could give without provoking the cabbages again. You wanna give it a go? He asked the older. Yeah, sure. Tell me what to do, Chief. Make small talk. Quackity looked at Tommy like he'd grown another head. Well, go on, Tommy said. The plants like it when we talk to them. Quackity turned back to the task at hand. All the cabbages were now hopping around. Looks like they're getting educated again. He looked at one of the cabbages near him. Crouching down, he started to talk to it. So, how's the weather? Tommy couldn't help but facepalm. By small talk, I mean try coaxing them into submission, he advised. Quackity tried to think. Want some sunlight, little fella? The plant stopped hopping around aggressively and instead was excitedly hopping around Quackity. Alright, that's good, Big Q, Tommy said. Now hold out your hands and wait for it to come to you. You want sunlight? Quackity repeated, making the plant jump around more. Okay, maybe don't hype it too much, Tommy said, but his words were left to deaf ears. Come on, sunlight, yeah? The plant hopped towards Quackity's hand, but missed by a long shot. It hit a rock right behind the griffin door. Tommy pinched the bridge of his nose. And there it goes. He held out a sign. What am I gonna do, Tommy? It's fine, Big Q. Tommy crouched down near the plant to examine the damage. The roots are still intact. It's just the pot that's broken. We can always replant it in another. Tommy stood up, his hands on his hips. We should rally these stackers up before we do, though, or this whole greenhouse is going down. I already messed one up, Tommy, Quackity said. What? You're just gonna let me do all the work then? Tommy raised an eyebrow. No freaking way. You're gonna get one of these doucheheads on the table even if you break every other cabbage. Alright. And break they did. Tommy continued to coach Quackity how to handle what though. Yeah, just like that, Tommy said. Now do not raise your voice or make it all tiny. It's gonna think you're playing around with it. Time to go up, Quackity said in the calmest manner possible. The plant hopped slowly into his hand. A spark of happiness lit up in both Quackity and Tommy's chests as Big Q placed the cabbage on the table. Let's go! Quackity cheered in a whispered tone. We don't know nobody, the two of them chanted as they began their spree to capture the remaining plants. After gathering them and lining them up neatly on the table, Tommy and Quackity worked on replanting the ones that broke the pots. You really should be careful with these. They're very valuable, you know? Tommy said. How come? They're imported from China. They are? Quackity turned his head only to be faced with an amused Tommy. They're Chinese, chomping cabbages, Tommy said. I thought they were thought to 50 us. Oh, come on, Tommy. Quackity shook his head. Do I look like someone who pays attention in freaking herbology? Well, apparently you don't. Quackity huffed out a laugh. I didn't know you had to be so patient with plants like these. Yeah, a lot of aggressive ones tend to like coaxing. How do you know that exactly? I read about plants when I'm bored. Aww. Tommy. Who knew you could be so soft? Shut up, idiot. And there it goes. For someone who waxed all feral and stuff, you were so patient with this whole thing, Quackity said. Man, listen to that. Tommy and patient? I didn't think those two words should be in a sentence together. Oh, duck you, big you.